think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.
Hey, BALLBUSTERS, Bates here with your friend and mine, Ray Mungus. We're ready to find the energy to get through episode 33 of Way of Life Live. How you doing over there, buddy?
Probably as tired as I sound. How are you?
All right. A little cranky. I didn't have my nap today.
Seeing a pattern here. You didn't have one last week either.
I don't remember that.
I do.
But, yeah, no, typically I've been taking naps after work because that's what happens when you stay up till 2 in the morning gaming every night, and then you got to wake up at 5:30 in the morning for work. So,
welcome to my life.
Something,
or what used to be my life.
Something's got to give somewhere.
Yeah, you're just gonna crash really hard one day. Like you're like, I'm gonna game tonight on a Friday night, and then just be in bed and asleep for 12 hours by 8 o'clock.
Oh, typically on Friday night I'm done. It's game over.
I hate that. I always try to like push it towards the weekend. I'm like, okay, I'm staying up the entire weekend, or something silly like that, and then come the weekend, I just catch up on sleep, and I don't know, I don't like it.
Yeah, no. By the time Friday rolls around, it's like, oh yes, it's the weekend. Time to sleep. It's like not time to go out, not time to party, not time to drink. It's time to sleep. That is what Friday is for when you get older, all right? Sleep day.
I don't even want to go out anymore or anything like that. I just want to stay conscious while I play video games or watch television or a movie or something. Like I'd much rather be on my couch or in my office.
You know, I find it an accomplishment if I come home from work and then I manage to take a step outside the house after I get home, whether it be just throwing away the garbage or watering the garden. It's an accomplishment. It's like, all right, I went out. I came home from work and I went out.
I actually make the reverse situation. What I'll do is I'll come home and I'll be like, I'm not stepping out of this house until Monday when I have to go to work. Usually I'm successful.
Yeah, that's typically how it goes. All right, well, so I'm sure everyone noticed we didn't do a live commentary this past weekend. Crap happened.
Yeah,
and it didn't. You know, just things didn't work out. The movie we were gonna watch, we didn't have access to it, which is a fucking godsend.
Don't worry, I'm ordering it special just for you, my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get all the pieces falling together, and well, you know, July's come and gone, so we're going to have to try to reschedule. Well, not even going to try, we're going to. We have a little bit of a busy weekend this weekend, but you know, like we'll try to manage, you know, rebooking and make it happen.
Yeah, well, I don't know. This month is going to be pretty ridiculous for me. I got my sister's wedding in like a week, and then I'm going on vacation, starting on August 17th. So I'll be gone for a week.
I'm going on vacation too.
Where are you going?
My house. It's great.
You're having a staycation.
Yes, I'm. Well, I mean, like, my work thinks I'm going places, but I'm basically just going to be staying here. I decided to take a week off because I'm completely run down, and I don't know. I just want to enjoy different things. I'm going to be going away that weekend, supposedly, and
is that Monster Mania?
That's Monster Mania, yeah. I'm going to be going away that weekend and then returning home to World of Warcraft. It's going to be great.
Did Hairman say he got a room?
Hairman, well, let's just say that many pieces fell into place as they do, and
all right, you don't even have to say anything else.
Yes,
I get it. I read you loud and clear, Ray.
But then the baller came out, and things are going to be happening. It's going to be an interesting time. if I might make it down there, who knows?
Your mic is coming in kind of staticky.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
That sounds a little better now.
Yeah, I adjusted.
So maybe we'll be able to squeeze in a live commentary this month. As I said, it's just really, really busy for me, and I'm the one who kind of coordinates and runs the stream. So unless somebody else can manage to do it in my stead, I wouldn't hold my breath too long on getting one this month. Maybe towards the end of the month. But definitely can't do it next weekend, and won't be around. I guess. No, well, that weekend.
Let's just say this: instead of trying to figure it out on air, I have a couple ideas. Maybe they'll work, maybe they won't. And we'll talk about it after. But we'll keep everybody updated. You know, we'll talk and we'll figure it out. See if we can make it work.
Yeah. I'm still not holding my breath, but yeah, sure. So we do have other plans this weekend, which includes trying to gather the other two heathen members of Metal Beer Horror to start recording, since we have a recording space again.
Yeah,
not holding my breath for that one either, but we'll see.
It's looking good. I got a call from LR this afternoon, seeing if everything was still good on my end, and asked if I needed some transportation, or one way or the other. And Tom is basically always along for the ride. So it looks like the MBH crew is assembling this weekend. What time and for what, I don't know yet. My brain is kind of like shot. And I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing, but we're going to be doing something.
Yeah, that. It looks like I'll have to clear off our recording table behind me. It's a little bit of a mess.
Hop to it.
All right, so yeah, that's what's going on with us in a nutshell.
Yeah, man, it's thrilling. Like as we're talking, I'm just getting more and more excited by the sound of my voice.
We're just beat and exhausted right now. As I said, that's my own fault. I've been playing Ghost Recon Wildlands every night for like 4 or 5 hours till 2 in the morning. I'm like addicted to it.
Must be nice. I've been getting little cat naps that were like against my will, because I've been so fucking exhausted. I was watching an episode of a television show, passed the fuck out. Playing my video game, my eyes are just like, they're slowly going, and next thing I know, I'm like flying into a wall. It's been awful.
Well, somehow I've managed to squeeze in 2 movies. One that I wrote a review today for, might be up tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. And the other one I'll hopefully be at least starting tomorrow, maybe finishing. So I got 2 reviews coming out over on the website. So at least I'm getting something accomplished.
I feel like that was a jab at me somehow.
No. Hand to God, it wasn't.
Honestly, like my brother's been busting my balls this week, so like I'm already in defensive.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's been a slow couple weeks in the horror world. So I mean, it's
yeah.
But I mean, the website's still kicking. We're managing to top every month after month.
Yeah, definitely. That's been exciting for me. Where, like, from my perspective, I always see the month kind of start off slow, and like, I don't know what happened last month, but we are not even coming close to destroying our numbers, and then we pull it off somehow. Like, it helps that we have like E3 and San Diego Comic-Con, like for the big news, and even San Diego Comic-Con seemed kind of light this year as far as news went. Like, there wasn't anything super groundbreaking, but people were still scouring for any kind of nugget of information, so that was a good thing. So the site's been going well, and we've been having some great articles. And like, I hate talking like that because it feels like self-congratulatory. And but like, give it a shot. Check out the website for yourself and see what we're doing.
All right, so now that the beginning of the episode plugs are done, let's go ahead and we're going to dive right in to horror news. All right, so do we have any Shining fans out there tonight? I'm a Shining fan. I like The Shining. I was a big fan. The movie, loved the book, and I even enjoyed the remake, the made-for-TV remake. I thought that was pretty good. Well, for all you who may not be aware, Wendy Torrance and Dick Hallorann have been cast in Dr. Sleep, which is sort of a continuation of the storyline from The Shining. We haven't actually heard much about this lately, so this kind of came out of the blue. It was a nice little bit of news.
Yeah, it actually broke today, like this afternoon. I was looking for news for the podcast, and boom, right there, the information that those two characters were cast. And unfortunately, I haven't read the book for Dr. Sleep yet. I wanna like revisit the original before diving into that. But it's really awesome that we're getting a continuation of the movie after so many years, and seeing these characters progress and evolve over the years.
Yeah. So right now, the latest news we got is that Carl Lumbly, not familiar with him at all, but he is set to play Dick Hallorann, and Alex Esso, who I've heard of, but I'm, again, not really familiar, will be playing Wendy Torrance. I'm not really familiar with Dr. Sleep at all. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with just the original set of events, but didn't Dick Hallorann die? Didn't he get like an axe?
Yeah, that's the misconception. Kubrick's Shining decided to kill him off, and apparently he survives in the actual book.
I don't remember him surviving in the book, but then again, I haven't read it since early high school.
Yeah, same here. That's pretty much why I wanted to kind of do like a double feature of those two books, because the between the remake of the movie, different things that you've read throughout the years, the original movie, and the book, there's like so many jumbled memories, especially if you're as old as us. So there's definitely a few mix-ups and a few cross wires.
All right, well, those two actors and actresses will be joining Ewan McGregor and Rebecca Ferguson, who have already been attached to Dr. Sleep. So it's interesting. It's a very interesting idea to continue such an iconic story and book, and technically movie. Most people are familiar with The Shining through the Stanley Kubrick film from was that 1980?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean that's where most people know The Shining from, and one of Jack Nicholson's most famous roles, despite Stephen King absolutely hating that version. And
I wonder if he's warmed up to it over the years.
As far as I know, he hasn't. And I think it's one of the reasons why they did the made-for-TV remake, and it follows the book a bit more. And I actually liked it. I thought it was very creepy, and they did a very good job on a made-for-TV budget.
I agree. I enjoyed it myself. I had it on like a recorded VHS for so many years, and the thing that I had a problem with, and it's nothing related to the movie. It's related to Kubrick's version. He had such a impactful vision, despite it not following the book so closely. that it's really, really difficult to accept anybody else in those roles. And that's the thing that's making me a little skeptical about this, despite the star power, behind the casting. Like McGregor's been killing it for years. Cara Lumley, he was on Supergirl. I think he was like an episode a 1 or 2 episode arc, and he was, serviceable. Like there's nothing super standout about him. Alex Esso, I think that's how her name is pronounced. She was great in Starry Eyes. So like I can't say a bad thing about her, but I can't see Shelley Duvall and Scatman Crothers like being replaced. Like in my head, it's like those two roles are way too iconic for other people to fill those shoes, and I worry that that's going to taint it for some people. But I also think that we've been removed from the Kubrick Shining long enough for this new tale to be told, and kind of like offer a brand new perspective and in a different time, a different setting, and frankly a different story.
Yeah, it's basically you needed that buffer zone, and some movies and characters the buffer zone is longer. But it's been well long enough, and I think fans will accept new actors and actresses coming in to fill in these very iconic roles that they remember watching as kids. So I think the movie, as long as it's written well, I think the cast is going to do well, as long as the script they have to work with is up to par.
Yeah, Akiva Goldsman wrote the adaptation of Dr. Sleep, but Mike Flanagan, who did Hush, came in and did a rewrite on it, and he's going to be directing it. And if Hush is any point for expectations, I think we're going to be in for a very atmospheric film. At the very least, even if his script isn't top notch or whatnot, the type of movie that man can make. Hush barely had any dialogue. I could only imagine what he could do with a Shining universe film.
Yeah, and Hush, like you said, there was very little dialogue in that movie, and they just made it pop because of how atmospheric it was. And it reminded me of almost like movies of old horror movies, where it's scarier if you don't see what's happening,
Yeah, in that case, what you don't hear is happening. Like
that too.
A lot of silence in it, and I think him starting on that foot, or putting that foot forward, really shows what caliber of a filmmaker he is.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more casting news, but I don't see too many more characters being casted. But then again, I don't know the story at all, so.
Yeah, I need to correct that. I think I'm gonna go pick up the audio books and listen at work.
So it's definitely something we will be keeping our eyes on over at Dead Entertainment. So let's see. What else we got here? Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Live to film concert.
Yeah.
Heading on tour. Wow.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I seen it on actually Bloody Disgusting. We haven't reported on it yet because we don't know exactly what it is. I believe the what are the filmmakers' names?
The Kyoto brothers?
Yes, yeah. I think they're like putting this together, and it's essentially going to be some sort of traveling roadshow, with like musical elements, and I'm not exactly sure if they're taking the original film and converting into a musical, but the idea of a Killer Klowns like traveling almost sideshow live performance is just super intriguing to me.
Yeah, I mean, did you would you ever have guessed that in 2018, 2019, we'd be getting some type of live traveling Killer Klowns from Outer Space show? That's just fucking bonkers, man.
Never in a million years. I mean, like, the fact that we're still hearing sequel talk about this movie blows my mind. And now they're like, hey, we're going to take some bands on the road. We're going to just, like, straight up perform all Killer Klowns related, like, perform a Killer Klowns related show. And it just, I don't know, like, it's really crazy world we're living in. And it also shows that filmmakers are like, okay, they're looking at the gatekeepers, aka Hollywood, who have the money, and they're saying, okay, well, if you don't want to push the sequel out, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna pound the pavement and do our own thing, a very unique thing, and we're gonna travel with it, and we're gonna create that buzz for ourselves. You know, even if it doesn't lead to another movie, it's gonna lead to a cult hit of some sort, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, so basically, what we know about this is that they're going to have acts traveling with them. You know, standard carnival circus acts, contortionists, fortune tellers, strongmen, and women, magicians, body art, fan arts and crafts, and, of course, the clowns. There's apparently going to be pre-show Q&A and meet and greets, as well as members of the Dickies, who is the band who wrote and performed the Killer Klowns from Outer Space theme song. Pretty catchy song.
Oh yeah, definitely. They don't make them like that anymore.
And then basically what it is, it's going to be a film screening with the original musical score performed live by an orchestra or symphony.
Yeah, it's very interesting the lengths that they're going for, and I think that they're picking up a little bit of what like Adam Green did a few years ago with what the hell is it called? Digging Up the Marrow tour, and how he also I guess he recaptured that a little bit with the Hatchet or Victor Crowley tour. So it's cool that filmmakers are doing different things to kind of push their movies into the spotlight, whereas it might have been a little bit dusty before.
The thing is that, like, this isn't really a guaranteed for anybody in any area or any state. If you read it, the fans actually have to go out and request this from local venues and local orchestras and symphonies. Film screening with its original musical score performed live by your orchestra or symphony, by your option, to be conducted by Massari himself. So there is no... So they basically are announcing an event that they need fans to kind of help make happen.
True, but this is actually something that often happens when it comes to musicals. Like, for example, you have like Toxic Avenger musical, for example. They basically, they'll put on a show or something like that, and then different parts of the world or like bands and orchestras and things like that, they'll pick up the show and put on their own version of it, or do, like, bring on Massari, like you were just saying. They did the same thing with Evil Dead the musical as well.
Yes. So I guess if the fan response is big enough, you might get it in your area. I don't know. I just have this feeling that I don't see them doing it more than a handful of shows.
Well, I think the performing arts centers in various areas are always looking for something new, something interesting and fresh. And sure, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is far from any of that. But bringing it to a stage where it's an opportunity for them to perform music that they wouldn't normally perform, or a story that they might not normally perform. Like, you're obviously going to have some shadow acting, a very big circus atmosphere. It's going to be a very unique show. So I could totally see different art houses and performing arts centers pick something like this up. Like, I think the success in this is going to come from licensing the whole production. which, like I said, a lot of these places are always looking to do. So it might not come in the form that this article is saying. Whereas, it's like, oh, we're going to send our Masari composer out to you guys and blah, blah, blah. It might evolve into something a little bit different where you have these spread out places and putting on very local acts or off Broadway type of shows. Obviously not to that caliber, but, people that are trying to make it into those, that industry.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely open some interesting doors. It's just a matter of how many doors.
Very true, very true. This is a niche thing anyway, so
yeah, without a doubt.
So it's going to be one of those things that happens. It's going to happen in your area for a limited amount of time, and then you're never going to see it again. It's going to be a very unique situation, and the world's going to move on.
Well, if Killer Klowns from Outer Space isn't your thing, or if you guys in your area do not get this particularly unique and interesting live show, maybe Goblin will be coming to your town. Yes, Goblin. Who's Goblin? Well, Goblin, Claudio Simonetti's Goblin, is known for scoring, like every Argento film?
Pretty much.
And Goblin has announced a live Suspiria score, tour, and screening. Basically, the band will be playing the musical score to the movie over the movie live. So, we get these kind of shows every once in a while, and I've never actually been able to get to one. Now, I'm not a fan of Suspiria at all, but that doesn't change the fact that I would love to see what one of these movies being scored live is like. I know you've been to one.
I actually haven't been to one. I've been to a Goblin show.
Oh.
Where they played Suspiria's song, and they had the movie clips up on the screen, and they had some shadow acting, from stage hands and things like that while they performed. Actually, I'm about to be getting those videos up and ready for Dead Entertainment's YouTube channel. So, give it a couple of weeks, and I should have a bunch of those up because I filmed a lot. Our buddy Rich actually went to one. He saw Fabio Frizzi do
I know, and I hate him so much for that.
Well, Frizzi will eventually be back around, and it looks like from this. I'm looking at the dates right now. It looks like there's a show in Brooklyn for Suspiria, and I know you don't like Suspiria very much, but that soundtrack is absolutely incredible.
I know. I'll consider it. I definitely will. But I mean, 11/24. That's
Take a look. Is it after Thanksgiving or before?
That's
Saturday.
It looks like the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Not bad. Not bad. It'd be something to do.
Right? Is the Thanksgiving the 22nd this year or the 29th?
Hold on. Actually, it's isn't it the last Thursday?
I don't know. I can't follow this.
Yeah, so it's before Thanksgiving, but Saturday's a good time for it. And we know LR would be all about this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if it's anything,
our listeners, we're making some plans real quick.
if there's a plan to go to a show in a fucking stupid area that is completely inconvenient for us New Jersey boys to get to, LR is all for it. Oh, we gotta take 6 buses, 12 trains. Oh, let's do it. Potentially get mugged. All right, it sounds good to me.
I don't even play that, man. I get into New York and then I look at Uber prices and Lyft prices.
So, yeah, I'll definitely look into it. That's as I said, I've always wanted to go see one of these things, and yeah, I am not a fan of Suspiria at all, but I think this would be a really cool way to see it, and definitely something you'd be able to cherish.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen Goblin when they first performed in America. Their first, I believe it was their first tour over here, and it was by far one of the best concerts I've ever been to. One of the few concerts I pushed my way up to the very front gate, and I was up against the gate the entire night, filming some stuff, enjoying the atmosphere. Just them watching them put on these shows or these songs that I grew up watching in movies is by far like it's a surreal experience.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see where this theater is. And
you're going all out on this, aren't you?
I'm just looking. It's actually really not far from Barclays. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like 8 or 9 blocks away from Barclays and Prospect Heights.
Not too bad. So yeah, it's definitely something we might consider. And if we end up doing it, you'll definitely be seeing some video from it, without a doubt. At the very least, maybe we'll get some interviews or something like that.
Well, in other news in regards to Suspiria, but not that Suspiria, the other Suspiria, the new Suspiria that we haven't even seen yet. I believe we got a final runtime, and it is not a short one.
No, not at all. And this really caught me off guard, especially with the tone that the trailer is giving. It looks like the runtime is going to be 2 hours and 50 minutes long.
No, 32.
32? Oh, sorry, I was reading the other one. 2 hours and 32 minutes. But even so, nearly a 3-hour movie for what kind of amounts to a slow burn horror movie. Ugh.
Yeah,
Not
this.
Sure if I like.
Yeah, this could turn south real quickly. I mean, if you're an Argento fan and you like the original Suspiria, then yeah, I'm sure your panties are sopping wet over the thought of 2.5 hours of new Suspiria. But as a non-Suspiria fan and overall a non-Argento fan, I am gonna take this one. I'm gonna take it on the chin. I will be seeing this movie just because I don't think I could really call myself a horror fan if I at least didn't give it a shot. And I did like the trailer, but knowing that this is going to be like Avengers long in terms of length, man, I'm gonna have to hit a Red Bull before I go into this one.
Yeah, I was very excited about the trailer because it seems like they took and washed all the nice colors and everything that kind of appealed to the back in the day Argento fan, even modern Argento fan for that matter. It seemed like they washed all of that away and they were trying to lean more on atmosphere and story in regards to this. And then I see this runtime and I think to myself, how far could they take this story? And I see movies like this and they don't always have a full crazy story. They don't have the substance. The original didn't have the substance. And now you're watching a almost 3-hour movie and you're wondering, good Lord, could this hold up the entire time? I'm a little skeptical at this point.
I'm a lot skeptical. But as I said, it is my duty to give this one a shot. I do not go out and see all new horror movies that come out in theaters, because 9 times out of 10 they're like possession movies, and I can't stand possession movies. But this one's got legacy behind it. This one's got pedigree, and that I respect. So it deserves my attention, even if that means 2.5 hours of it.
Yeah, I'm bracing myself for this one. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm definitely bracing myself.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go and see it together and we can poke each other in the movie seats so we can stay awake. Throw popcorn at each other.
Oh god, I think the only way to keep you awake is if we go see it at the Alamo, because that bottomless popcorn is just going to keep you eating for 2.5 hours.
Well, yeah, and it's not only just the bottomless popcorn. It's the fact that they also have ginger beer on tap if I don't want regular beer.
Exactly, that they do.
Oh man,
I need to have some of that over there.
Ah man, I always have ginger beer in the house now, so love that shit.
You do.
Love that shit. So yes, 2.5 hours. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right then, that's enough Suspiria talk. So I had mentioned earlier, I had written a review for a movie I had seen. And I'm going to briefly talk about it real quick. My full review should be up tomorrow. But it is a French-Canadian movie. I believe it was made in 2017, but it kind of got more of a wider release in 2018. It's called Ravenous. And it is a zombie movie that takes place in the kind of like backwoods area of Quebec. I didn't know anything about it. I had like heard about it, and that was it. Like, yeah, French-Canadian zombie movie. That's it. That's like all I knew about it. So I happened to watch like the little snippet trailer that they play for Netflix movies when you highlight them in the menus. And, you know, for the most part, almost every French horror movie I've seen, I absolutely fucking love. So I decided, you know, fuck it. I'll give it a shot. The last zombie movie on Netflix I watched, I did a review on and I loved it. So I thought, let's double down. Let's go 2 for 2 on this one, man. And it delivered. I have to say, it delivered very much. It's nothing. This movie is nothing new. This is a almost by the books zombie movie. You got your basic characters, nothing fancy, nothing, you know, no one overly stands out, aside from one female character, her name is Claudia, maybe? No, Celine. Celine, that was her name. And it was very simple. And what I noticed about halfway through this movie is that what was making the movie so good is just how, again, simple it was. You watch zombie movies nowadays, because the market is so fucking oversaturated with them, zombie movies have to try to go above and beyond, outdo every other zombie movie that came before it, you know? They can't just make a normal zombie movie. Maybe have the zombies have a few different quirks and leave it at that. Don't try to fucking outdo anything, because you're not gonna do it, alright? The top zombie movies are top zombie movies for a reason, and guess what? They've been top zombie movies for over 30 fucking years. You're not gonna beat them, so stop trying. Alright? You're not beating Return of the Living Dead. You're not beating Night of the Living Dead, or Dawn of the Dead, or Day of the Dead. You're not beating Zombie. It's not fucking happening, so stop it. Just try to make a good movie on your own merits, and don't try to outdo any of them. And that is exactly what Ravenous did. One of the best aspects of this movie that I absolutely loved is, if any of you guys have ever played one of those sandbox zombie games like DayZ, or I think it's called WarZ, even though that wasn't a really overly popular game, but DayZ is the one game that comes to mind mainly for me, where you're running through big open fields and forests and going from house to house, and the houses are very far apart. That's exactly what the setting of this movie was. They made the setting just very out there in the wilderness, you know? It's making survival feel more real, and very, very, very good use of the setting, I have to say. The zombies, again, had some quirks to them, but you know, you can read more about that in my written review. There are a good number of characters, but they're mostly zombie fodder. And the gore is minimal. There is some gore, but don't expect a lot. But the ending. The ending is something that I want to discuss, but I'm not going to discuss it tonight. I'm going to wait for the review to come out, maybe give it a week or two. Maybe then people who will read the review, if they have Netflix, they'll go and watch this movie. And then I want to do just a spoilery theory on the ending, because the ending is that interesting. Overall, it's one of the better zombie movies I've seen in the last probably 10 years. I rank it right up there with Cargo and just being a very enjoyable movie. If you don't mind reading subtitles, or if you can understand French, definitely check out this movie. If you like zombie movies, you're a fan of the zombie genre, this is a movie that should not be missed. You need to give it a try. Again, it does not break the mold and does not do anything new on zombie movies, but what it does so well and so right. I did have a couple of complaints. They were minimal, although sort of annoying, but you can read more on those on my official review, which will be up on Dead Entertainment. Again, I think tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be up tomorrow. I believe Chris was working on it a few hours ago or an hour ago.
But somebody in chat asking what is the movie you want us to see. It's called Ravenous. It is a French-Canadian movie. It is on Netflix right now, and I do highly recommend it. I do not recommend Tusk, though.
I do. Tusk is a fucking weird one, but yeah.
But yes, definitely check out Ravenous if you have Netflix. It is worth it, especially if you don't mind subtitles. Personally, I watch everything with subtitles now, so it doesn't bother me in the least. Just a quick rant. I really don't like people who say, "Oh, the movie's got subtitles. Oh, I don't like reading when I watch a movie." Are you that fucking lazy?
Yeah.
Like, really? You're sitting down anyway. You can't read while you watch a movie? That's some lazy motherfuckers out there.
Yeah, I grew up with subtitles because my father's partially deaf, so I'm very used to them. But I see certain people's points when it comes to subtitles or not wanting to read them. Like me, for example, when I read, I start to get a little bit drowsy. And if you're trying to follow the action in a movie while reading subtitles and you're not used to it, I can see where it's unappealing. But for somebody who, you watch a couple movies and you're pretty much used to it at that point. So definitely give a few a shot and get yourself in that zone.
Yeah, if you put subtitles on for everything, you get used to them, and then you get to the point where it's like, oh, how did I watch anything without subtitles? Because it's great. Because sometimes you're watching a movie, maybe you've seen it a dozen times. Maybe you know it almost like the back of your hand. But when you're watching with subtitles, sometimes you'll see things the character says that you never picked up before.
Yeah, or if it's a line of dialogue that isn't exactly
clear,
very audible. Yeah. Yes, it's like you catch things and jokes sometimes, or little acorns of information that you're just like, wait, what character said this? Who said that?
Yeah, subtitles helps big time. So if you're not watching anything with subtitles, I would just suggest changing that. Just put subtitles on, even if it's just for a week, just to see if you can deal with them. I guarantee it makes your viewing experience rather, a lot more pleasurable. Just my opinion. It's just give it a shot.
Yeah, it opens up a world of cinema that you never knew existed either. I mean, or you knew it existed but never really tried. There's so much great foreign movies out there, television shows, and everything. So, open up that world.
All right, so that is going to wrap it up for horror news. Let's go ahead and dive into some geek and comic news. All right, so Before we dive into the first piece, I just want to kind of give an update to anybody who may not have heard.
Oh, there's an update. Just wanted to cut you off. There's an update that you might not have heard. And that's news number 3.
Oh. Where'd you hear?
Yeah.
Where'd this come from?
Yeah, it broke this afternoon, in the evening. Just, yeah, you could just set it up. If you want to talk about it now, go for it.
Huh. Hang on, I'm just reading something here. This is upsetting.
Yeah, I was gonna go for the original piece of news that we were talking about yesterday, and when I went to look for an article just so we could, could bounce back and forth between, I caught this bit of information that posted an hour or so ago.
All right. Well, now this put a damper on my mood. So I was going to say, earlier in the week there was rumors swirling around that James Gunn could possibly be rehired, which was my theory from last week. Nothing was set in stone and nothing was confirmed, but there were rumors floating around. And now there are new rumors saying that is unlikely. Again, we're not going to know, I think, for a few more weeks until the big boss of Disney is back from his vacation. And I know, like, all the actors are contractually obligated to show up for future movies. But I can see some of them possibly stepping away and dealing with those repercussions because of this unjust firing. This
new rumor that kind of broke today, and it's like sources supposedly close to Disney that are saying it or reporting it. This new rumor that broke today basically is, to me, more fuel on the fire in getting him rehired. I only say that because over the last, what would have been 2 weeks removed now since this situation happened?
Yeah.
So over the last 2 weeks, we went from a lot of people angry about what was said in tweets that were over 10 years old, and to I guess, a big situation where people were like, wait a second, he's answered for this before. Wait a second, this was a knee-jerk reaction. Wait a second, this is completely unjust. And as like if you've been following the situation, as you've been seeing, it's been snowballing. It's been picking up a lot of followers as they moved forward. And finally, the cast members of Guardians of the Galaxy wrote an open letter to Disney, saying that they were extremely disappointed with this whole situation and how it shouldn't affect, like the words of like a mob mentality should not affect a great situation that they were in and everything like that. But these new rumors that are swirling around that it is unlikely that he's going to be rehired, and Disney's already having their mind in possibly bringing in an A-lister director to replace him. I think this is only going to add fuel to the fire as people get more and more frustrated with the situation. I wouldn't be surprised if there's boycotts coming from it. I wouldn't be surprised if more people leave Twitter over it. Like there's been a lot more solidarity amongst James Gunn supporters than there were when this situation first broke. So I only imagine that this new set of rumors is going to make that snowball move a little bit faster and pick up a lot more people. And I think Disney's going to find themselves between a rock and a hard place at that point. And maybe they'll hold their ground, maybe not. There's still a lot of time, like Bates said a few minutes ago, that we have to wait for the bosses to get back and really assess the situation. But I think we're at that point where, gloves are off, and the supporters of James Gunn are gonna really make their move, probably stronger than they have been in the last 2 weeks. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
My thought on this is they're looking for A-lister directors. Well, may I give whatever director ends up taking this job, if it comes down to that, a warning. You better have a thick skin. Because you're taking a job that shouldn't even be available. Alright? You're gonna get attacked by fans. Not overly unjust attacks either. I get it. It's work. It's a job. But at the same time, it's not your job. And I'm afraid that it's going to be a director that I actually like, because I'm not going to be able to support it, because I'm going to feel like that director doesn't have integrity, especially if he happens to agree and stand behind James Gunn in this particular situation. I also do not think that the cast, if they stay, which I think they're going to, I don't think they have a choice because of their crazy contracts, but I do not think that the cast is going to give it their all. I believe that if we get a James Gunn-less Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it is going to be a shell of its former self. I believe the cast members are going to phone it in, and there's going to be no life, there's going to be no energy to it. It is just going to be just a dud, an absolute dud.
I also think they need to watch their step. Before I even get into what I'm about to say, I want to say that I did not agree with this big Star Wars wine fest where they decided they were going to boycott the Han Solo movie because they were too busy with their panties and knots over The Last Jedi. We're not going to get into that. But,
yeah, thank God. That's an episode in itself, because I got some fucking choice words for those whiny little fucking...
But I want to point out that those people also had power that weekend. And the box office shows that you make a fan pissed off enough, they're not going to show up for their movies. And as much as I don't want to see the empire of the Marvel Cinematic Universe crumble, because it's like one of my livelihoods pretty much, fans that if they feel they've been cheated as something, they're going to make sure you know it. They're going to make sure you feel it. And that's exactly what happened in the Solo movie. And I'd hate to see the same situation go down with a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, especially from a director that could potentially bring something really good to the series, but shouldn't, because it's not his place to.
Yeah. If somebody else takes this job, you better have thick skin, because it is not going to be an easy road for you. Whether you're on set or outside the set in social media, fans are going to hound you in the worst way possible. I might be one of them. And I don't mean it as a malicious attack. I mean it as a, like you're a fucking scab. They took our jobs. It's fucking... God. It's just show integrity. If there's one thing I'm not seeing anymore anywhere, it's just people... people know better, and they're still doing the wrong thing because they have no integrity. I've been complaining a lot about this, in particular to a certain aspect in wrestling right now, that they've been fucking ruining, and it's because of people within the industry just having no integrity, and just, instead of saying no, I don't agree with that, they're like, oh, a paycheck, fuck yeah. So it's just be ready, whoever it might be. I don't care. I don't care if it's fucking Steven Spielberg, J.J. Abrams. I don't give a fuck. Know your place. And your place is not in the director's chair of Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, well said, man. It's going to be interesting to watch the situation play out. I'm really hoping that that people band together as much as they have been in the last week or so, and continue to support James Gunn after this situation, because this whole situation, all it boils down to is, yeah, even if you grow up, even if you apologize and like man up for your mistakes, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, those mistakes, regardless of what they are, even as insignificant as they are, they don't mean anything, especially if you apologize for them or like take responsibility for them, because this is the precedent the world is setting, and I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, it's teaching the wrong lesson. It's unfair to James Gunn. It's unfair to the fans, and it's frankly the only fucking people it protects is the corporate jobs and their PR. Like it's sickening to me.
Before we move on, I got one more quick thing to say. There needs to be a fucking time limit on how long a person can be punished far removed from fucking acts. Alright? Roseanne said some fucked up shit. But she said that shit, a couple months ago. Guess what? You're getting punished. You're losing your TV show, and you're fucking being ousted. You're just being excommunicated everywhere. Alright? A couple of tasteless jokes over a decade ago? Yeah, I think the time limit, the statute of limitations, have fucking run out on that one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I couldn't agree more. I mean, if you want to hear us rant more about this, we did a whole long segment on it last week's episode, if you missed it. But as you could say, we're very passionate about this situation, and it's frankly, we're worked up. It's not a good situation. I hate the fact that it's happening, and I hate the fact that we're faced with these new rumors where for a second there we had a glimmer of hope that they were considering bringing him back, and now new reports are saying otherwise. So maybe we'll be able to push past this in terms of making something happen, and for the better, but who knows at this point.
Anyway, so in case anybody has not heard, Marvel and Disney bid $71.3 billion and have won Fox. They own Fox now. Which means
the sale hasn't gone through, but their shareholders...
The shareholders approved it, and that's the biggest... Yeah, that's the biggest hurdle in these types of acquisitions. And what that means for Disney and Marvel is that they now own the rights back to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and all of its characters underneath that umbrella. As of right now, the only characters left that Marvel and Disney do not have full rights to are the Incredible Hulk. They have rights to the Hulk, but not for solo films. Universal still holds those rights. Spider-Man and everything under the Spider-Man umbrella, they have a partnership with Sony for usage of the character and other characters. But they don't own him yet. And actually, the only other character that I believe Marvel does not have the rights to is Namor. I think...
so.
Yeah, I believe the Submariner is stuck fucking somewhere. I don't know, it might be like Lion Gates or something.
I forget. I read an article about it a couple months ago, but I don't remember where he's stuck. But they definitely don't have the rights, unfortunately.
Now, normally, this kind of news would get me ecstatic. If you know me, you know that I am one of the biggest Silver Surfer fans. My favorite comic character of all time. And the Silver Surfer was under the Fantastic Four umbrella. So, Marvel and Disney did not have any rights to use the character. Well, now the rights are going home, and the Silver Surfer will be going home with them. And normally that would get me so excited, because it's a big character, and I know it would not take long to get him into a movie or into his own movie or a series or something. But, again, not to tread back on anything, but you know, it's just that this James Gunn situation has really just put a fucking damper on any excitement I could possibly have for this right now.
Yeah, I mean, I want to echo that. Like, inside, I feel that way. But I've been a comic book fan and Marvel fan and movie fan for a long, long time, so I'm probably going to like be one of those people that kind of keep going with the flow of everything. But it definitely does shine like a darker light on the situation, and I don't know, it's you know, like I got this bad taste in my mouth despite wanting to be excited about everything.
So yeah, don't know when the final sale and acquisition will be going through for this merger, but it's I would say it's about like 90% done at this point. Comcast has backed out completely. They're not matching or upping that bid. So, you know, maybe once the acquisition goes through, maybe that would be like the right time to be like, you know what? Maybe we'll bring James Gunn back. I'm being super optimistic right now. Moving on. Moving on. So you know those 2 X-Men movies that they finished filming and editing and they've been sitting on for a while? Well, they finally got release dates again. It looks like...
now.
Yes, again, for now. It is well within Marvel's power at this point to just be like, yeah, fuck these, and just throw them in the trash, and we may never see them. But 2019 looks like, as of right now, looks like we will be getting X-Men Dark Phoenix, which, honestly, I really hope they change that title.
Yeah.
Which is set to debut on February 14th of 2019. So it's really, when you think about it, not that far away. And the New Mutants, which we already have a trailer for, but we haven't heard anything else about it since that trailer dropped. But that will be debuting in like exactly a year from today.
Oh wow. You're right. You're right about that.
August 2nd, 2019. So yeah, fucking exactly a year. Now again, we don't know if these dates will stay and if we'll ever see these movies. But at least right now we got something.
Yeah, like I think they will stick. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know exactly how long this acquisition would take place, and if Fox still has the power between now and then, they'd be fools not to toss them out there. But it also has that weird situation happening where you know they're going to reboot the X-Men series, so why continue the charade? You know what I mean? Like, after Apocalypse, there was a very lukewarm taste in everybody's mouth. People are seeming to be more interested in Deadpool and X-Force that's on the way, and you know, like, why at this point, why even like put it out there to the world, especially if you're going to, you know, pivot and go a different way?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple months. I wouldn't worry about Deadpool. I think Marvel realizes they got a good thing with Deadpool, and I don't think you're going to see a tame Deadpool. I think they'll continue the series, and I think they're gonna. When you have a character like Deadpool, you can just pick him up and do anything with him. Like, you can take him out of the Fox X-Men universe, pick him up, and plop him just the way he is into the MCU, and all he has to do is make a couple of jokes about it, and then that's it. That's all the exposition you need.
Pretty much.
And when you have a character like that, it's basically, we get Stan Lee cameos in every Marvel movie. Well, I would say expect to see Deadpool cameos in future MCU movies. It's gonna happen.
With the sale on the horizon, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it sooner than later.
Yeah, it's expect something, and they're gonna be short, little, goofy cameos. Probably where he's trying to curse and he's getting, censored, and they could do some really funny things with the character cameo-wise. So I'm calling that now. You expect to see some funny shit coming up. All right, so well, I guess speaking of Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld, right? That's how you say his name, Liefeld.
Liefeld, I think.
Liefeld. Well, apparently he might have let loose the villain for the upcoming X-Force movie, which I wonder if it still is gonna happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. They seem to do a little bit of groundwork. Well, I don't want to spoil anything. They did a little groundwork on X-Force in Deadpool 2, and yeah, I wouldn't doubt it at this point. The Deadpool movies are popular. Kevin Feige knows that you don't want to rock the boat on something that's been successful and kind of has the formula down. So, yeah, I'm sure that X-Force is going to be the next evolution. I really don't think that they're going to continue any of the X-Men movies, with the Dark Phoenix and everything. New Mutants, the jury is going to be out on that one because it's an entirely new concept. But X-Force has a couple movies, already like setting everything up, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, apparently it's a possibility that we will be seeing Strife, who is the evil clone of Cable, as the next villain. And I'm not gonna lie, not liking that.
I don't mind it so long as he doesn't look like the giant Silver Samurai.
Yeah, I mean, we already technically got Cable as a villain, so now we're just getting another version of Cable as a villain. I don't know. Maybe like
honestly, like if he's a side villain, I think that would be a little bit better.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
If you've seen Deadpool 2, like the main villains aren't necessarily the main villains. It's more the situation that's the villain, and there's villains that just happen to be there.
Yeah,
like it's a weird, unorthodox way of presenting a hero versus villain concept.
So I wouldn't expect to hear anything about an X-Force movie for probably a little while. So take this one with a grain of salt as far as rumors go. I think that's really all on this one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, there was some rumors going on a couple months ago where they're basically Ryan Reynolds is trying to get Hugh Jackman out of retirement, so there's a possibility there. Especially seeing as Hugh Jackman was kind of playing coy and teasing it a little bit. But obviously nothing will be set in stone, and I think the real deciding factor on that rumor is going to be seeing the X-Men come home, and I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out of retirement for that, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Well, they could make that work. They could bring him back for one more Wolverine appearance, and then somehow put this movie in during like I don't know. I guess somehow make this movie like a part of like a Marvel multiverse, and have maybe when Avengers 4 ends and everything gets reverted back using the Infinity Stones, maybe have it somehow the multiverses get all screwed up and crossed, And now that's how you bring mutants or the X-Men into the MCU. And it would be kind of a cool way to pass the torch of Wolverine from Hugh Jackman to a new actor playing him. And like a goofy scene where we see Hugh Jackman and Deadpool kind of, you know, merging into the MCU. And then when Deadpool turns around and he looks at Hugh Jackman again, well, it's not Hugh Jackman anymore. He's been morphed into a new actor playing Wolverine. You know, something goofy like that could work. It would just have to be written really well. And not exactly the way I just said it, but something along those lines could just be a fun way to bring mutants into the MCU.
Could work.
Yeah, someone more talented than my ass would have to write that one, though. All right, so the other day we got a new Venom trailer, and it was chock full of symbiote goodness. Like a lot of symbiote goodness. Like
lots. Significant amount.
Like, it was pretty much just all it was. Just
more than usual.
Symbiotes. Trailer was good. It looks like fans are getting a very comic accurate character. Pretty sure we got our first glimpse at Carnage at the very end of the trailer. And yeah, they made Venom fucking huge. Like,
wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no. I knew he was obviously going to be bigger, but like, it's like 9 feet tall, 10 feet tall. He's fucking huge.
We've seen him drawn like that before, so it's nothing new. But I thought it was going to be a little bit different. Not to say it's a bad thing. I think it's going to be fucking cool.
We got more dialogue from Venom, and I gotta say, I really like the voice acting and the route they went with him. I like it a lot. Very bone chilling, which is exactly how you want Venom to sound.
Agreed.
The only thing I wasn't really digging, and I know it's still a while before the movie comes out and they'll fix it, but the CGI was pretty fucking wonky.
You know what, man? I was probably the first person to tell you that when you said that it was a little bit on the sketchy side. I was like, give it a shot. You know, they got some time, blah blah blah. And then I watched a trailer when I got home from work, and I was like, wow, looks like a video game. This does not look like a real movie. I don't know if that was their intent, if they were trying to make it the skin of the symbiote to kind of have its own living organism type feel, but right now the way it looks, I don't know, man. It's looking like Superman's mustache, you know.
I don't know if it's that bad, but
okay, all right, that was a knee jerk there.
But I mean, there were a few scenes that just, I don't know, the coloration looks so superimposed over the scenery.
Definitely.
Yeah,
and some of the scenery looks fake too. That was another thing, that the environments didn't look like New York. It wasn't Zack Snyder bad, but or not New York. What was it, San Francisco?
Yeah, somewhere in California.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I like the where the story feels like it's going. So a hot take. Venom sounds awesome, and once they fix the CGI, I think his overall design looks awesome. Yeah, I'm not digging Tom Hardy at all as Eddie Brock. It is just a kind of a monotone. I don't even know. I don't see any kind of life or enthusiasm, any charisma behind his role at the moment. Now again, I'm going on 2 trailers, but I don't know. That's what I'm seeing.
I have a weird gripe with him and love with the way he's putting on the character. The love is the fact that he kind of reminds me of that juice head Eddie Brock that I like imagined while reading the comics. He was like a New Yorker. He had the accent, you know. He had that he wasn't the the smartest guy in the room. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. But at the same time, he had that like somewhat imposing, like bully like attitude towards him. And in this trailer, it's kind of giving that like he was that guy, but he's more reformed. You know, like his character evolved. He grew up a little bit over time. But at the same time, I don't buy him as this weird investigative journalist that he is putting on. Like they're forcing the story where it's like, I find out the things that the government doesn't want us to hear about. And it's like, okay, cool. Do you know how to spell? Do you know how to write? Because it certainly doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like the character he's portraying. It sounds like he dropped out of high school. And for some reason, he's Barbara Walters all of a sudden. Like I don't buy it.
No,
like I would have been more interested in seeing like a recovering junkie Eddie Brock in this way he's portraying him, because that would have been a little more interesting to me. Because not only is he battling one demon, but he's battling a symbiote demon. So like, I mean, you could have did something interesting there, even though it's not canon to comics or anything. Just something I pulled out of my head. But yeah, no, he's definitely not Geraldo Rivera, that's for sure. And he doesn't sound like it either.
Yeah, it's just... My hopes is we don't have to see him a whole lot. Hopefully we get more Venom than Eddie Brock.
I just hope we see more of him living, and the journalism shit isn't the only thing to his human character. You know what I mean? Like if it was kind of told from like this weird taxi driver perspective, where the journalist thing is just a job and he just happened to stumble upon this evil government corporation or whatever, like, okay, cool. But if he's the guy that they pay to get the hard hitting stories, not believable. not in the like slightest.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how he really tackles the rest of this role. I just don't know. I just don't have a good feeling after this latest trailer. So moving on to the last piece of news that we have, Lucasfilm officially announces Star Wars Episode 9 cast, and surprise, surprise, it looks like we have not seen the last of Luke Skywalker. Now, to what end Mark Hamill will be in the film, obviously nobody knows at this point. Is he going to just be a Force ghost? You would assume so. Is he going to be a very prominent Force ghost? Are we going to see? Is he going to have more screen time in this movie than previous movies? I don't think so. But I think we're going to get a good amount of Luke Skywalker in this film, more than what people might think. What do you think?
Yeah, I honestly don't think, like, I don't want anybody to get their hopes up on it, because what happened when they got their hopes up, they were disappointed with The Last Jedi and how much screen time he had. To me personally, I think his role fit better than him coming back out of retirement as the old wise Jedi Master, and he decides to become the star of the show anymore. If you've seen Episode 7 and paid attention, you knew that wasn't going to happen right in that film. So to expect anything else after the fact was, that's on you, man. It was your own fool's errand. In this particular case, like you said, I honestly think he's just going to be a Force ghost. He's going to live to guide the situation on. Maybe there's a situation that happens between Rey and Kylo. Maybe it's, maybe she starts dabbling a little bit too close to the line of the dark side, and Luke is there to bring her back in. We could speculate all day, but I think it's just going to be like, it's going to be like that pulling all the strings together to finally complete the story. This is being told, I believe, as the last in the Skywalker legacy. So I'm pretty sure all of these, all of the past movies are going to be completely like wrapped up at this point. Like with this next film.
Yeah, about time. About time.
Agreed. Time to get the new people the center stage, and this is a good note to go out on.
But on top of Mark Hamill returning, we are also getting Lando back. It has been confirmed that Billy D. Williams will be reprising Lando Calrissian. Very cool. I was hoping for him in Episode 8. Obviously, we did not get him, but now that this news has come out, very cool. It'll be nice, since Han is dead. We still have Chewie, but Chewie needs somebody more. He needs that anchor, and seeing Lando one more time will definitely be cool, and that's gonna make fans happy. Well, all right, no, I take that back. There's nothing that's gonna make fans happy. There is just
they're Star Wars fans. They're as bad as Jets fans.
Yeah, I love The Last Jedi. I have my review up on deadentertainment.com from when the movie was first released in theaters. I loved it. Watched it not too long ago on Netflix. Loved it even more the second time. I sat down and really watched it. I don't know what these people are complaining about, and I'm not getting into it because we're gonna be here. We'll be here for another 2 hours at that point.
That's so true.
But we have a cast. We're getting Luke again. We're getting Lando.
Getting one other person too.
They are using they're using unused footage, I believe, from The Force Awakens, to have a Carrie Fisher send-off. They're not doing a CGI version of her. They're not de-aging or using another actress, and none of that. It's footage Carrie Fisher shot, but it was just not used, and they are going to work it in to Episode 9 for a proper send-off to the character and the actress. Which, I swear to God, if I see one fan bitch about this, I'm building my own Death Star and I'm aiming it at their house.
You don't have a weakness.
I'll close that exhaust port, alright? Just because I know there are going to be people who are bitching about this for one reason or another. It's just making me upset just thinking about it because I know it's going to happen.
All right, you need to calm those nerves. We've had enough disappointment tonight. We promised a real fun episode too. Back to disappointment.
Anything else on the Episode 9 cast you want to touch on, or I think we hit all the notes.
Yeah, I think all the main spots were pretty much touched upon. I think I'm probably most excited to see Lando. I'm very curious about Carrie, and you know what, man? I love the old legacy being in there, but I'm more curious to see where the new story is going.
Yeah. As I said, I loved Part 8 so much, and I'm just so excited. I'm looking forward to getting more Rose. Rose was my favorite character in Episode 8. And this is well before that shitstorm of shitty fans attacking her and her character. I put out my review for this movie. I wrote my review the night I saw the movie, and it was up the next day. And in that review, I expressed how much I loved her character, how refreshing her character was, how charismatic and just so pleasant, just a joy to see on screen. Love that character. So when all that shit happened, I was just like so deeply upset and offended. Like, how do you hate this character? It was one of the best characters in the movies. honestly, it's been one of the best characters in the franchise. Probably one of my top 5 favorite characters in the franchise right now. Throughout all the movies we've seen, top 5 character. So, I am greatly just looking forward to so much more Rose in Episode 9, and I hope we get twice as much now, just to piss off all the people who don't like her. Yeah, I said it. I said it.
Yeah, I agree. anything to spite him.
Okay, so I think that's gonna wrap it up for us tonight. More comic and geek news and horror news this week, but sometimes that happens. Sometimes there's just not a whole lot going down in the world of blood and gore.
That's disappointing too. I was like so excited to talk horror. I've been in a horror mood lately, and I'm just like, let's do. Oh wait, we are just scraping the barrel.
Yeah, so here's hoping that maybe next week things pick up a little bit. Otherwise, we're gonna have to do another filler topic with another review from me. Maybe you can watch Ravenous, and we can have a discussion on it next week. How about that?
No. Why would I do that when I have Troll Hunter to watch and Hellboy 2?
So I'm gonna be looking for a new co-host moving forward.
You're an asshole.
I'm just saying. The movie's there on Netflix. It's right there. Real easy to hit play.
I'm so tired. But yeah, anybody applying for co-host, make sure you know Photoshop. You have a bunch of sources and good stuff. Do it. See, what's wrong with me being a co-host? I'm awesome. Thanks, Finn. I appreciate that.
So anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight and all my salty, ragey goodness. Went off on a couple tangents, but that seems to just be common nowadays, especially when I'm just talking about shit fans.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure next week's episode is just like all like cotton candy and flowers and fun shit because like we desperately need it.
Yeah, we need something uplifting, something that's just not gonna make me want to stab something. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure you check out the website deadentertainment.com for all your horror news and goodness. I don't even know what else to say. You know, we try to cover the good, important news. I've been getting really mad lately seeing other horror publications that I do like, but covering on just the most dumb and mundane shit. Listen, I don't give a fuck if your company is putting out a horror tiki mug, alright?
I knew you were gonna go there.
I don't care! And I'm not writing about it.
You know, next week's episode, we're going to talk about Funkos all night.
Yeah, I swear to God, half of my Twitter feed has a Funko Pop addiction. All right, and that's fine. I'm a collector too. I collect my own shit, so I don't knock people who collect them. I'm just getting fucking sick of it. Every day, there's 16 brand new Funkos that are being released, and I gotta see 100 people fucking tweet about them.
You know which one I'm really excited about?
I don't know.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, great. That's what we need.
Oh, of course it is. I needed Audrey 2 Funko Pop. God damn it.
But yeah, I can't do it anymore. It's like every day. It's a new Funko. Oh, look, it's a vinyl for this movie. For, you know, vinyl soundtrack from this movie that 12 people saw. Tiki mugs. It's oh god. All right, enough, please.
Man, you need that vacation that you were talking about earlier today.
You know, it's a couple years ago. All this shit was great. You know, the vinyls. Oh, okay. I don't care for vinyls, but this is pretty cool shit. Oh, tiki mugs. Okay, don't know why those are a thing, but sure. You want to drink your liquid out of an awkward shaped cup that you can't grip properly? All right, more power to you. That's awesome. And the Funkos were really just starting to blow up a couple years ago. So at that point, I wasn't fucking ready to just burn them all down. But now, every day on my Twitter feed, it's either a new vinyl, a new tiki mug, or a new Funko. Driving me nuts.
A new enamel pin.
Yeah, but the enamel pins, at least they look cool, and pins have always been kind of a thing. Like, I've always seen people walking around with a million pins on a vest or on a book bag or something. So,
True.
I don't get overly mad at the pins. Now, I think they're getting a little ridiculous, but I can't go off on a massive tangent on them. Even though I did in the chat the other day, I said I was going to start throwing every brand new horror enamel pin at every brand new fucking horror vinyl that gets released.
Yes, you did.
But I see the appeal of pins because I've seen them out in the field. I don't see fucking people walking around with tiki mugs, alright?
I'm going to start just so you see it, because I have the Gremlins one.
Good, I hope you fucking spill it everywhere.
I don't drink out of it. It's in my display case.
I hope you spill it on your stupid fucking milk crate full of vinyls that you'll never listen to.
I only own one, and it's signed by Bobby O'Frizzi. Leave me alone. You aim that at LR this weekend.
Oh my god, dude! Next time we're at his house, I'm gonna go searching for his milk crate. I'm taking a picture of it because I know he has a fucking milk crate full of LPs. I know it.
So do I.
Alright. This turned into another fucking rant. Thank you guys so much for putting up with that one. I swear to God we're signing off this time. Again, check out the website, deadentertainment.com. All your horrors, news, and updates. The important ones, alright? Make sure you follow us on Twitter at DeadEnt, E-N-T, sites. And you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/deadentertainment. You can also follow me on Twitter at Bates_MotelMT. And you can follow Mungus over on Twitter at Ray Mungus. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Live Deliciously in Game. Typically, I like to play horror games, but horror games lately have sucked. So I am deeply ingrained into the Ghost Recon Wildland PvP. So that is what 99% of my streams have been lately. But it's a good time. We hang out, we chat. I get salty playing the game. Good times.
You really get salty?
A little bit. Just a pinch. Make sure you check out the site tomorrow for my official Ravenous review. Again, I give it many thumbs up. Check it out. It's on Netflix, Ravenous. But read my review if you're not 100% sold on it. I go into a bit more depth than what I talked about tonight. And yeah, hopefully I will have a review for Mohawk up next week. I had talked about that on one of my personal streams about a week ago. But I'm going to be writing an official review for Mohawk. And yeah, I'm still working on that article I talked about like 3 weeks ago. It's there. It's every time I look at it and start working on it, it just fucking grows more. So I feel like I'm never going to be able to finish it because I keep writing more every time I go and work on it. All right. I think that's it. You got anything else?
Nope. I'm gonna go watch some TV. I'm pretty tired, so I'm looking forward to the close of this.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. And remember,
What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.